In the year 2351, we discover Baltarus.
Hey everybody, it's Luke here from LT Gaming and welcome back to you LT Gamers. Today I'm taking a look at a quick review for the early access title Silica. Silica is a crossover first-person shooter and real-time strategy game where up to 3 factions battle for control over the planet of Baltarus. You can lead from above as the commander or experience the action firsthand either alone or with friends. Join one of 2 human armies or hunt them down as the territorial aliens. But before I dive in and give my thoughts on this really intriguing early access proposition, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Me and Tom really appreciate everything that's happening lately. The channel is starting to really take off and it's very encouraging, so make sure to give us your support. So this game really caught my attention because of the awesome combination of first-person shooter and real-time strategy game. And I've seen that in a couple of other early access titles, and this one just made me want to jump in. The aesthetic attracted me, the combat, the videos, the really cool gunplay and night and day mechanics, they all drew me towards this game, and I reached out to the developer and they sent me a copy of the game to review. Now the game is published by Bohemia Interactive, but is being developed by one person overall, and I believe it's his absolute passion of a project. Now I want to highlight really strongly that this game truly is the definition of early access. It has many bugs, it has a lot of gameplay that is missing or not working, the performance is abysmal. Really bad, I have to say. One of the worst I've seen. But overall, it's made quite an impression on me, and I'm a little bit addicted to this. But I want to really strongly state, if you're a person who's not happy with the process of early access, you're not going to like this game in its current state. You're going to have to be someone who wants to get on board early and wants to see the game develop. For me, that's one of my passions. I love it. I have been burnt a few times, as I'm sure many of you have. But look, this has one of the best potentials I've seen in a long time. So on the planet of Baltarus, there are 3 main game modes available. And the flagship of Silica is of course the strategy game mode, where you can play as the commander or as an infantry member, jumping into various vehicles, tanks and aircraft eventually, once they add it into the game, to take on the enemy opponents. And that can either be another human faction or the alien faction. What makes this really fun and actually really engage me with the game was jumping online to play with up to 12 other people in large conflicts. Generally, I'm not a huge multiplayer gamer, but I've really enjoyed jumping online in Silica and working with other players to defeat our opponents. People have been extremely friendly and helpful, and also seem to want to work together to achieve the ultimate goal. The only thing that has dragged this experience down has been the abysmal performance. I was having a really great game the other day with 12 players, and it dropped below 10 FPS for me. It really just wasn't playable anymore. If you decide to jump in and play the game, you can of course pick to be the commander, which is a lot of fun. You start with 9 infantry soldiers, 2 light quads, a headquarters and around 10,000 resources on the planet. You then have to build up and command your soldiers. Now the real-time strategy element of the game isn't really fully fleshed out yet. It's a little bit lightweight. You can zoom in and see what your soldiers are doing and then go and become one of those soldiers if you want to, which I found really cool, but it is a little bit lacking at the moment and needs a lot of work. But as a concept, you can see what it's trying to do. As you progress as the commander, you can build a research facility and then upgrade your technology from Mark 1 to Mark 5 and get access to some really impressive units. There is then, of course, the ability to play as the infantry on either the alien or human side, and it's a huge amount of fun transitioning down into the trenches and actually fighting out, knowing that the commander is above you, commanding the overall battlefield. It's very immersive and a lot of fun. There are actually 2 other game modes as well. One is like an exploration mode called Prospector. I didn't get a lot from that one, but there's also an arena mode, which is a huge amount of fun. You get to play with up to 32 AI opponents and other players. It's absolute chaos when it gets going. You can play with just soldiers or with all the vehicles in the game as well. It's total carnage. One of the other really impressive aspects of this game is the graphics and the planet which you fight on. The desert planet, which is very much like a dune, is absolutely brilliant to look at, and I've enjoyed the battles on this so much. There's also like a lightning planet, which at night, because there is a day and night cycle as you fight, The particle effects of the guns, the lightning, it is absolutely incredible, and I really am excited to where they can take this with extra planets and new environments. One of the best aspects I really want to highlight about this game is the particle effects at night. You can see massive firefights on the horizon, and you're driving along with your tank trying to get into the conflict, and it's absolute chaos. Really immersive, and a very, very strong foundation for the combat. Sound effects in the game do a good job, but I do think they can improve. But the music is a particular strong point, and I believe it's by an artist known as Scott Buckley. It suits the desert world really, really well. Now, the problem with the game. You have to be very patient. If you're going to play single player, it takes some time, unless you're playing as the commander, for things to get going. I actually set up a battle, walked off downstairs for half an hour, and came back and then jumped into it, and it was absolute chaos across the map. Now, I touched on performance earlier, but it is truly abysmal. I updated my drivers, and I usually get a playable frame rate just sat about on 30 FPS, but I've had battles where it drops below 10. They really have to make strong improvements to this immediately so it becomes more playable. There are also many bugs within the game. Harvesters don't always work properly, despite looking absolutely amazing and really big on the battle map. You can look up at them and the scale is awesome. But there are so many problems with this game at the moment, and people have been a little bit annoyed by the state in which it's released. And I get that, but I will say I think that the developer will push through and deliver an absolutely stellar product with this one. You know, how long that will take? Could be a very long time. So Silica, I have to sum up, in early access is one for those who like to see a project develop. Do not go and buy this and then come back and say, oh, it's not finished yet, because it really is at the beginning of its journey, and the key word there is beginning. But if you can see past that and understand the potential, you can have fun with this game now, and I think people are starting to understand how the game is supposed to be played and starting to really enjoy it, and I've seen the Steam reviews creep up quite a bit in the last few days. So there we go, guys. Silica, a very careful purchase for those who want to see a project come to fruition. Right now though, if you want a fully fleshed experience, stay away. For me, however, it says a huge amount that despite finishing my review of the game, I'm playing a lot of it in my spare time. I absolutely adore it, but I just want to be so careful in my recommendation at this stage. Right guys, I've been Luke from LT Gaming, had an absolute blast with this one. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one.